and welcome to the University of Dundee Master of Education webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Global. Do excuse me this evening. I do have a little bit of a cold, so I hope that you can hear me. My throat is sounding a little bit funny this evening. But joining us this evening all the way from the university is Marie. Good evening to you, Marie.
Good evening, Helen. I'll try and help you out and do most of the talking tonight.
That's not a problem. And I can see that we do have quite a few of you that have joined us. Welcome this evening. How are we going to conduct the webinar this evening? So I'm briefly going to introduce you to Stafford and what our role is. I'm then going to hand you over to Marie, who will discuss the program in detail. And towards the end of the presentation, you will have the opportunity to type out any questions that you'd like to ask me or Marie, and we'll answer those as efficiently as possible. I am going to be looking at the questions quite carefully because a lot of them are similar, if not identical. So I am going to be grouping these questions together. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Global? Well, Stafford Global was, was established in 1993, and we are a resource center for distance learning education in the Middle East. Now, we are currently the resource center for 5 UK universities, one of which is the University of Dundee. And Stafford offers a variety of programs, starting from certificates to diplomas, bachelors, MBAs, right through until MSc and doctorates. Now, the mere fact that you are with us this evening means that you have been in touch with one of our experienced academic consultants. And thus, our function here at Stafford is to assist you throughout your application process, and we do offer some administrative support as well as academic support. I'm now going to hand you over to Marie, and I shall join you towards the end of the presentation. Over to you, Marie.
Thank you very much, Helen. Okay, thank you for joining us tonight, everybody. My name is Marie Beresford-Day. I'm the academic lead for any students who will be studying with us at Dundee through Stafford Associates. And I'm also a lecturer in educational leadership, so thank you for joining us. So I'm going to take you through, first of all, who we are at Dundee before I start to have a look at the Master's Programme. So here at Dundee, we make a difference. This delivers impact, and we make this difference here and now in the real world. And to do this, we foster partnerships working between students and staff, actively seek ways of working together across boundaries, encourage and support students to be transformative within their own practice through the knowledge that they're adopting, and make time. We also make time to listen to help, and to provide that support, not just on the MEd programme, but across the university. We recognise and respect everybody's differences and backgrounds, and we actively promote inclusion. We are open, honest, fair. We don't hide things from you, and we also nurture your creativity and innovation. We're a modern university working on innovative solutions to 21st century problems, and we do that through focusing on 3 key themes, and that's improving social, cultural and physical well-being. So here, as you can see, we are frequently placed highly in the university's rankings, which we are very proud of. And we have a substantial global reputation with students from over 150 countries around the world. And in addition, no matter where in the world you're studying from. We promote a real sense of community, and it's that we feel that sets us apart. So moving on to the MEd, what is the MEd? It's a professional development programme undertaken at level 11, so that's master's degree level on the Scottish Educational Framework. It's a professional development programme. So do know that although the MEd is recognised by the General Teaching Council in Scotland, it's not a teaching qualification. And it does not lead to a teaching practice qualification for UK state schools. For international guidance, then we do advise that you check with the relevant government or registering body. Okay, so to give you a little overview of the master's programme, it is a part-time or a fast-track programme which offers you some flexibility and autonomy in the way that you work. It's blended learning, so we do deliver face-to-face workshops, and I'll speak more about those soon. We offer practice-based professional development and learning qualifications that are recognised by the International Baccalaureate. Students from all sectors of education, we cater for you, whether you're from early years through to higher education, through public sector, private sector, whether it's your own business. And we offer a variety of different routes and foci throughout the programme. We treat all students equally, so even though you'll be studying at a distance, you still have access to all of the online support. This is an internationally recognised postgraduate qualification, and like I say, we do offer the International Baccalaureate certificates as well. Again, I'll speak about those shortly. So the benefits of undertaking a master's degree or the Master of Education, which helps you to extend your knowledge and capabilities, which bring together the theory alongside your practice. It encourages you to draw on your experiences and align them with the theory and vice versa. It enables you to question why we do certain things and whether there are any alternative ways that practice can be enhanced. All of which help you to develop and extend your own confidence and understanding and enhance your professional career. And as tutors, we are continuously seeing our students' practice being influenced by their learning at master's level. And then this inevitably benefits the students and staff who you're also working alongside. So what can you expect from us if you decide to study with us? First of all, then we have the online tutorials with your module tutor. So they're in very similar formats as what you're experiencing just now. And we also have email support as well. Local face-to-face workshops, and again, I'll go into more detail about those soon. As well as the online learning and teaching materials that are available to you. You also have the formative assessment opportunity across all of our modules, which then you can receive feedback on your work, and that will help you towards the final assessment. In addition to that, our Academic Skills Centre will offer support with academic writing. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we do have a variety of foci in the Master of Education. The list that you see there, the top one, the Leading Learning and Teaching, that's highlighted in bold. That is our generic programme, and that offers quite a bit of flexibility. Underneath that, you'll see that there's several named awards. If you are wanting to obtain a specialism, a master's degree with those areas of specialism, then you can do so. But there are certain modules that you would need to undertake to obtain those. To obtain a Master of Education or the MEd, you'll need to complete 180 credits of study in any of those named awards. Okay, so to support that, we have a range of optional modules, and some of these are linked directly into those named awards. Each of the optional modules enables you to carry out the study and assignments without being in the workplace environment. So if you're not currently working, or you in the future you think that you may have to take some time out, that's fine. These modules are still suitable for you. Each of the modules are worth 30 credits, so these are single credit modules. In addition to that, we have 3 core modules, and then we also, as one of those core modules is the dissertation, which is worth 60 credits, so that's a double credit module. And just to go through, I'll talk about a few examples shortly with you. But just to have a little look here, so if you decided to take the Master of Education in our generic award of Leading, Learning and Teaching, then you can opt for any 2 modules, and your dissertation topic is any relevant education theme. That's no problems there. And then if you decided, for example, to undertake the Educational Leadership named award, if that's your area of specialism, then that you're aspiring to, then you would need to undertake the Leadership and Organisational Development module plus one other of the optional modules that you saw listed. And then your dissertation must also have an educational leadership theme. And that's similar for the other named awards there as well. Okay, I did mention the International Baccalaureate, so we do offer the 3 certificates there: the Certificate in Leadership Practice, the Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research, and Advanced Certificate in Learning and Teaching Research. And for these awards, once you commence your studies at Dundee, you'll need to register directly with the IB, and we do provide you with guidelines to do this. We also have a dedicated member of staff who will provide you with IB support, and there's no additional assignments that are required for any of these IB awards, but you will need to underpin your assignments with some of the IB publications. And again, we offer guidance on this. For the 3 different awards, what you'll see there, as at the top, the Certificate in Leadership Practice, the IB does not require any prerequisites of IB experience for that award. The Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research, then there's 2 different pathways. There's the first pathway, where you don't need the prerequisite of IB experience, but builds onto the Certificate in Leadership Practice. And then the second pathway, if you do have 3 years teaching experience in an IB school, you don't need to obtain the certificate level first. For the Advanced Certificate in Learning and Teaching Research, the IB do require you to have 3 years teaching experience in an IB school to undertake that award. Just to give you a little example or 2 here, because it is quite complex because of all the different options that are available to you. We have a typical part-time route here on the screen, which does include the IB, but in this situation, this is the Advanced Teaching and Learning Research, so you would need that 3 years teaching experience in an IB school. So for this, you would start off with year 1, where you undertake our core module reflecting upon practice, plus an optional module. Year 2, your second optional module with research methods, which is a core module. And then year 3, it is your dissertation module. So you have the entire academic year to study for that dissertation. Now, if you want the IB Advanced Certificate, then you have to complete the entire MEd to be able to get that, because you can see there how we've got the potential for IB at level 3. However, if you had not undertaken the IB award, you've got an opportunity to exit at the various points. So PG certificate after year 1, year 2, PG or postgraduate diploma, and year 3 with the MEd. Another example here, but this time it's for a named award, but it also takes into account with the IB leadership elements. So if you don't have any IB experience, or it's not at 3 years, then you would undertake this route if you wish to obtain that IB leadership certificate award. And you can see that there's the 2 opportunities for that here. So in year 1, you would start off with the leadership and organisational development, and that gives you the theoretical underpinning then for you to take the second module of reflecting upon leadership in the IB. And at that point, you may wish to exit the programme with postgraduate certificate and eligibility for IB leadership, or eligibility, it's not necessary. Year 2, because you may wish to continue to the postgraduate diploma level, you would undertake your second optional module plus the research module. And then year 3 at that master's level, it will be the dissertation, but this time it has to have a leadership and an IB focus to obtain that named award in educational leadership and the IB eligibility. So there's quite a lot of options there and a lot of information to take in, so that your consultant at Stafford will be able to support you with making those choices. The study duration for the programme, if you undertake the part-time routes, then per semester you'll be taking 30 credits, and a semester is 20 weeks. And then for the final dissertation, which is 60 credits, you will undertake that over 4 to 6 weeks, and that's approximately 15 hours of study time per week. The fast track route, we are doubling up, or halving the time, should I say. So you are, if you to undertake the fast track routes, then you would be expected to undertake 2 30 credit modules simultaneously within that 20-week period. And the 60 credits, that's reduced to 23 weeks, which then equates to approximately 30 hours per week. The fast track option is a significant undertaking, and I strongly advise you to consider whether you have the space in your busy work schedules and life schedules to undertake that 30 hours of study. However, if you do decide to take this option but then find it a bit too overwhelming, we can transfer you onto the part-time route at the end of a semester. And equally, if you decided to undertake part-time route but realise, or perhaps your circumstances have changed, that you feel that you can move to the fast track, then we can look towards doing that as well. Okay, I mentioned the optional workshops. This time around, there on Friday the 2nd and Saturday the 3rd of November, and these are offered twice a year, so at the start of the induction onto the MEd programme, as well as onto the research modules. It's like a second introduction, introducing you to research. These are held virtually or locally within the UAE, and it is an opportunity for you to network with other students and meet university tutors as well. The workshops are not mandatory, but we do highly recommend them. They're a fantastic opportunity to meet with, as I say, other students and the tutors. So it's a space for you to be able to start building that sense of community, and that really is important when you're studying online. The induction workshop will provide you an opportunity to gain an understanding of the various mechanisms within the university's online learning platform, and how to access things like the library and various skills that you'll need for studying at master's level, but also talk about the support that's available to you as well as giving you a couple of chances or activities to be able to help you to develop that confidence in undertaking master's level study. Things like the critical reading, thinking and writing that you'll be expected to use throughout your studies. Feedback from previous students has always been excellent, and students have found them very worthwhile and beneficial for moving on throughout the rest of their studies, no matter whether you're undertaking the initial induction workshop or the research workshop. I know I will be out there in November, so it'd be lovely to be able to meet you. Entry requirements, hopefully we have given you enough information today to be able to go and make those final decisions. All routes onto the programme must have an undergraduate degree, so that's within any discipline. And if your undergraduate degree was not taught in English, then we do require an academics IELTS of 6.5 or equivalent in English language. And then we have, as I say, the two place-based routes. They don't differ too much, but you do, if you're going down the workplace-based route, this is for those who are currently working in a relevant setting and wish to enhance their professional learning and improve your career prospects. And we will base the assignments around your day-to-day environment. So, for example, on the leadership module, you may be asked to think about or plan a leadership or undertake a leadership project and be able to reflect on that. If you are the non-workplace-based route, then you must have enough previous experience. It doesn't necessarily need to be current, but you must have been in teaching within a relevant setting previously for you to be able to reflect on those experiences. Just a few comments from our students, and again, we're very proud of these comments, but also we are equally as proud of our students who successfully achieve, whether that's certificate, diploma, or the full master's level. So we do enjoy working with you all. Our tuition fees, please do seek the costings from your academic consultant at Stafford Associates, and that deadline is fast approaching for those applications. So Monday, the 28th of October, is the application deadline. And I think Helen will be joining us shortly, perhaps just to say a little bit more in that respect.
Thank you very much, Marie. That was very, very informative. And I've been looking at some of the questions while you've been doing the presentation. There really are quite a few that have come through. So I am going to start grouping them as I said. Okay, so the very first question that we have is from Sarah. I am a biology teacher and I would like to know if the MEd you offer is enough to recognise the IB programme.
If you take an IB route, then yes, these awards have been devised by the IB. So I'm not quite sure, what do you mean, whether the IB programme is within the actual studies? That we support you to bring that in. Yes, if you take the IB Reflection upon Leadership module, it's very much central to that module. And for all of the modules, then we will support you to and direct you in the different readings, the different curriculum frameworks and things related to the IB. So, yes.
Okay, what is meant by the term research when I decide to take the advanced certificate in IB? Do I need to perform any research?
Research is quite a wide, has quite a wide definition to it, and there's different approaches. But if you are at that point where we talk about more formalising the research, then you will have the opportunity, well, you'll be undertaking the research methods module, which looks at all the different types of research within that. So whether you're looking at maybe perhaps using data quantitatively or qualitatively, and looking at your worldviews and bringing all of that in. And then you'll be looking at how you can develop a research proposal to undertake the dissertation module. And from that could be a desk-based dissertation, or it could be going out and maybe carrying out primary data collection through surveys and interviews and so on. But you wouldn't be expected to do that until the dissertation.
Okay, and I see quite a few questions with regards to the entry requirement. It's very important that you do have a bachelor degree to actually apply for the program. If you do have any other qualifications, we can send it to the university to ascertain if it is equivalent to the bachelor degree. But please bear in mind, you must have that type of qualification. You cannot enter the program purely based on your working experience. Okay, all right, so the next question is, if I do finish studying this particular PGCE program, do I get qualified to work in the UK or in Scotland?
Not within a public sector school. It may be that some private schools would accept you, but it doesn't give you qualified teaching status or a teaching license to work in the public sector schools. It is a professional development program. For other areas in the world, there may be questions that usually are about whether you're qualified for teaching or not. But then, as I say, please do go to your respective or any potential or future governing bodies or registering bodies to check their requirements.
And if you do have a PGCE from the University of Nottingham, then yes, the University of Dundee will accept your application into the MEd. So do get in touch with your academic consultant and we can get your application through to the University of Dundee as soon as possible. Okay, and with regards to, I'm just going to answer this question, Marie. It's regarding a local accreditation of the program. It is very important that you do get in touch with your own ministries. The reason for this is that every single ministry in every country has got different rules and regulations and stipulations. So please do get in touch with your own individual ministry to see if it is going to be recognized and accredited. And a lot of our teachers in the Middle East are working in schools that do accept this particular qualification. But again, that depends entirely on the school, entirely on the ministry and the country that you live in. So please do your research before you apply for the program. Okay, and the next question is, I do have 5 years of teaching in an IB school, and I do want to do the PGCE, but can I do only the advanced IB certificate, or can I actually get an IB certificate with my PGCE?
No. You would, to obtain any advanced IB certificate, you have to do the full MEd. So if you are going to do the first 2 years, the first year, so the first 2 modules for the PG Cert level, then the only way to do that would be to undertake the leadership awards. Which is a good starting point, because then if you do decide to continue with your study, then you can move on to the advanced, either leadership, or you could transfer on to the teaching and learning at that point. So, but for a PG cert level, then that is the option available to you.
Okay, I'm planning to work in Canada at a later stage, and part of their requirement is to have supervised teaching. Does this have supervised teaching as part of the curriculum?
No, again, because it's not a program that awards a teaching license, it's not necessary for us to do that. So that's not something that we assess people by. Our assessments, and I'm sure there may be a question on that, so I'm going to just run on this answer slightly as well, just to let you know the assessments are not examined at all, so no exams and no teaching observations. These are 5,000 word assignments for the single credit modules and a 15,000 word assignment for the dissertation.
Okay, if I do have a BSc degree from Toronto and a PGCE from Dundee, does this qualify me to register in Scotland and sit for the GTCS exam and become a licensed teacher in Scotland?
I'm not quite sure of that configuration, so my advice is, and as Helen has already talked about, please do get in touch. Helen used the term in the ministry there, I would use the term the governing body over here, so do get in touch with them just to see what you have got in your qualifications and what they would require and what options you have available to you. In Scotland, currently at the moment, things are changing quite rapidly, the situation, so this is why I'm telling you to, or advising you to go and seek that advice from them directly.
Good, and I do have a degree from Canada. Do you think I still need to sit for an IELTS?
If it's no, if it's from a Canadian university and the medium has been in English, then no, you shouldn't need an IELTS.
Okay, and just to answer the questions, and there's quite a few of them similar questions, online distance learning will not be mentioned on your degree certificate. You'll get a degree certificate which is identical to that which is offered to full-time students. Okay, so it will not say online distance learning. For the IB certificate, will I be able to take the third advanced certificate, as I will be having 120 credits from the PGC program? So I think she's asking for progression. Will I be able to progress?
Only if you have the 3 years teaching experience within an IB school. If you're coming in and you are requesting exemptions, sometimes we cannot meet that additional requirement of the IB. So again, it depends on what you're requesting, and let us have a look at your paperwork and we'll be able to advise you on that.
Will I be able to work in a higher education sector like a university lecturer if I do take this program?
That depends very much on the university and the area that you wish to teach in. Some universities do accept master's level, other universities require you to have doctoral, so PhD, professional doctorates. But this is still a stepping stone in that direction. I myself undertook a MEd before making that leap. So it's very doable. And so again, yeah, there's so much flexibility around the world from university to university. That's not an answer that's yes or no.
Can you clarify what is the difference between an IB certificate and the advanced IB certificate?
It's the amount of studying really that's gone into that, because for the certificate level, you'll have done 60 credits towards that. For the advanced level, then there'll be 180 credits towards that. So that it really is but simple, that is just the amount of study. There's no difference in teaching levels, just to make that clear as well. All of the modules, whichever ones you take from start to finish, are aimed at level 11, so all aimed at the same level.
This is an interesting question. Is dissertation the only option for completing the MEd program? Is there no other way of completing this, perhaps completing a certain module?
Unfortunately not. I'm not quite sure whether you're just feeling a little bit uncertain about the dissertation there. What I would say is many of our students feel a little bit anxious at the start of their dissertation, but through the support, and you will receive a dissertation supervisor who will work with you on a one-to-one basis and support you through that process. And because it's a time in your studies where you choose the theme and the subject of your dissertation, it's something that you're the director of this. We're not telling you what you have to study, that comes from yourself. We guide you, we advise you, we may make some recommendations, but this is your study, and it's quite an exciting stage to be at in your master's degree.
If I finish the first year online and I want to continue into my second year, is there a possibility for me to do it face-to-face on campus at the university?
We do offer a master's in education at the university, but it is a one-year degree. So if you start this online, then that opportunity isn't there, because it is a full-time degree here on campus.
I have an MSc in pharmacy, and my aim is to work at a pharmacy college. Does this program prepare me for that, or is it specifically only for school teachers?
It's not just for school teachers, no, it's for people in all aspects of education. The central theme of this program is education. So we have people who's joined the university on the program who are within medicine, for example, and want to teach medical students. So again, they use this program for that. So the central theme is education, so it's suitable for anybody.
And I see quite a few questions regarding classroom assessment. This particular program does not offer you classroom assessments. Okay, next question is, if I do not work in an IB school, can I still choose an IB module? Because eventually I would like to go and work in an IB school.
Yes, I mean, you can do the leadership certificate, and a lot of our students do who haven't worked in an IB school before, because that's what they aspire to do. So although we talk about leadership, we're not expecting you to have a formal leadership role or anything like that. Often leadership means somebody who is teaching in a classroom. You are leading those group of students. So students have found it really useful. And sometimes that term, like, oh, it's leadership, that's not for me. But actually, if you're a classroom teacher, it would be for you as well. So that is your route through. If you don't have the experience but still want that IB award, then I would suggest taking the leadership certificate.
And who is going to monitor my work, and how is this monitored? Very briefly, if you can explain that to me.
We don't actually monitor work. You are adults and you are professionals, so there's a sense of responsibility on your part there. We do offer guidelines and dates and things for you to submit things, but we don't come chasing for you. If you don't submit, you don't submit, but then equally you cannot then achieve that module. So there is a level of self-discipline that's required here, but we will provide you support with that. But as I say, we may give you a nudge from time to time, but we don't actually come chasing you for things.
Okay, and I see there's Annabelle, who's actually based in South Africa. Annabelle, I'll answer that question for you with regards to IB schools. What I do suggest is you get in touch with the education department in South Africa. They will be able to provide you with a list of IB schools that you can actually approach. Okay, I'm not too sure which part of South Africa you are residing in, but if you're in Johannesburg, for example, you know, there are quite a few schools there that do offer the IB curriculum at the moment. But my advice is to definitely get in touch with the education department in South Africa. Okay, if for unforeseen circumstances I need to take a break throughout my studies, for example, financial problems or health issues, is that permitted? And then when can I actually return to the program?
Yes, I've got quite a bit of flexibility there. If it's a situation where perhaps it's ill health and your family member's ill health, these things do happen, then you can take a temporary withdrawal from your study and return at a later date. We advise that you don't take too long with that, because the longer you take, the more difficult sometimes we find it is to return. For anybody really, whether there's any change in life circumstances or not, it may be that you wish to exit the programme at the PG certificate level, but then realise that actually you'd like to do a little bit more, and you realise that perhaps you've done well, which we hope you do, and you gain your confidence, you can come back to the programme. And you have up to 5 years to do that. So if you gain that 60 credits from us, then you have up to 5 years to come back and complete either another 60 credits or another 120 for the full MEd.
My school has advised me to try and get this particular program as soon as possible. So in your opinion, is it advisable for me to do a fast-tracked route? I do have quite a busy schedule, and I do not want to fail this program.
And it's understandable why schools want us to complete these things as fast as possible. But I think realistically, then if you have a busy work schedule, so you're working full time, if you've got family, then 30 hours of study per week is probably quite a substantial amount of time, and I would recommend that you do take the part-time route. Of course, if you do that and you decide that actually you can undertake more study, then there are certain points where we can change that for you. But I wouldn't overwhelm yourself, particularly with a busy work schedule.
If I cannot attend the face-to-face workshops, whatever is covered in these workshops, will I get access to that?
We do, and the presentations will be available online. Of course, you don't get all the discussions surrounding that, and you don't get to meet your peers and tutors and things like that are all very beneficial. But certainly any of the materials that we use will be available online as static materials.
Okay, and there's 2 or 3 questions that are very similar. Please, and I know Marie has already mentioned that this is not a teaching qualification. Okay, it is an academic qualification, not a teaching qualification. Okay, and is there a possibility to study 2 specializations at the same time?
Unfortunately not. You will either be going for a named award or the more generic award of the leading learning teaching. Now within those you could take 2 different modules, and we would expect you to do that. So you may take a leadership module and then maybe an inclusion module, which would give you that knowledge and understanding. But as a named award, no, we cannot bring in 2 different awards, I'm afraid.
And we've got 2 last questions. What happens if I cannot attend the graduation? How do I get my degree?
We hope that you can attend the graduation. It's a wonderful celebration. You get to see the campus and the beautiful gardens and surroundings of Dundee, but of course not everybody can, and if that is the case, we send your degree certificate out to you. So it's always important that you keep us up to date with your addresses, because if it's an old address on the record, it will go to that old address.
Okay, and the very last question is regarding the fees. I'll answer that. It's very important to get in touch with your academic consultant regarding the fees and the fee structure. Again, it does depend if you only want to do the PGCE or if you want to do the full MEd. So please do get in touch with your academic consultant. We do have a flexible monthly installment plan for you, and they'll be able to advise you accordingly. Okay. Okay, and with regards to acceptance onto the program, you do need to have substantial teaching experience, at least 1 or 2 years teaching experience. But do get in touch with your academic consultant, or do send your CV through to them so that they can actually evaluate your eligibility for the program. Okay. Can you advise when is the graduation? If I start now in this coming intake, when do you think I will graduate?
I can't do the maths. It depends on what you're graduating with, whether you're in masters or not. It also depends on whether you're going fast track or part-time, and whether you've got any credit exemption or not. So there's quite a lot of variables to work out there. But each of the graduations take place in November and June every year. So whichever one, because once you submit your final assignment, that does have to go through the exam board, and before then you can either register for the graduation and attend the graduation. So whichever one's closest to that point.
Okay, excellent. All right, so I've managed to actually group all the questions together. There were some interesting questions this evening. As Marie has said, we are currently accepting applications for the November intake. Marie and her team will be out in November to see students for the face-to-face workshop. We do have limited places available for this program. It is very, very popular here in the Middle East as well as in Africa. So I really do advise that you get in touch with your academic consultant as soon as possible, and let's get that application into the university and get your very important unconditional offer. Okay. Thank you again, Marie. It was a great pleasure having you with us this evening. And thank you everyone for attending. It was great having you with us, and we'll see you shortly.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.